Just because they lost doesn't mean they have to act like losers. Hi, I'm Scott Ott, and this is Bill Whittle Now. And Bill, as you know, Republicans lost control of the House of Representatives in the most recent midterm elections. But there are several people, including some quoted in an article in Politico that I just read, that are saying that Republicans should take advantage of their lame duck session, the session in between the most recent election and when the new Congress takes their seats, and they should take advantage of this to get through some of the Republican priorities. And let me give you some examples of what that would mean. At the lowest possible level, a majority leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, says he wants to get the budget passed, which is, there's a December 7th deadline coming up on that. He wants to pass a farm bill, and he wants to approve President Trump's nominees to the court, and whatever else they can get done. On a next level, Pat Toomey, the senator from Pennsylvania, says that they should call a special session to meet between Christmas and New Year's so that they can hammer out a trade deal for the United States. And then at the third level, Ted Cruz, and he probably takes it to its extreme, Ted Cruz and some others say, number one, we should take advantage of this lame duck session by passing justice reform, building the wall or approving funding to build the wall, passing trade reform, passing more tax cuts, passing an Obamacare overhaul, and basically saying we should use the budget reconciliation process to get that done if necessary, since the Democrats are going to be dragged kicking and screaming. Bill, let's face the facts. The people of the United States of America have voted for a divided government. Shouldn't we just give it to them and not try to sneak stuff in during this lame duck session?
Well, the bigger question is why didn't we do this during the 2 years instead of the 2 months, That's the real issue. And to be perfectly honest with you, I hadn't considered it while you were speaking, but you do raise, I think, a legitimate point. The American people have seen this Republican Congress do essentially nothing for 2 years, and they decided to make it a Democratic Congress. And you can make the argument that forcing all this stuff in at the last minute is contrary to the will of the people. But I'm not going to make that argument. Look, here's what I'm constrained personally when people ask for my opinion on things. I'm constrained by certain rules of morality, and the first one is legal. Is it legal? And certainly it is legal. There's no question it's legal. And then you have to ask the more difficult question, which is it moral? And there are many things that are legal that are not moral, necessarily anyway. In this particular case, I think it would be moral as well, because of all the things you listed, I believe are good for the United States and good for our country's future. And I personally think that cheating to win is losing. You might as well be on the other team if you're going to cheat to win. But given the stakes as high as they are, and given the country being in such dire shape as it is, since this is in fact a legal opportunity for Congress to do what they should have done for the last 2 years, I'd be in favor of it. And I happen to think Ted Cruz has it exactly right. I think they should vote on every single one of them. And there's no excuses now. There's none of this, well, I don't know if I'm going to be reelected or not. You already know whether you're going to be reelected or not. Now you can either do this the right way before you leave, or you can do it this way knowing you've got another 2 years to go around and apologize to people for doing what you were elected to do in the first place.
Well, and some of these losers, and by that I don't mean just figurative losers, I mean literal losers who lost their elections, would rather just get home for Christmas, and they figure their days
I'm sure they would.
Over. And frankly, they don't want to pee in the pool for their future prospects as a lobbyist, my guess would be. However, Bill, it occurs to me that it was not so long ago that the Republicans in the Senate held up President Obama's Supreme Court nominee, not between the election and the swearing in of the new president, but for like an entire year before the election even happened, basically saying that the American people have a right to weigh in on the Merrick Garland nomination. Mm-hmm. And now it seems like for Republicans to now say, hey, let's get some stuff done while we still can, seems to be a little bit more than disingenuous, no?
Well, I think the Merritt thing on some level was dirty pool, but we live in an era of dirty pool, and and I'm not happy about this, and it's certainly not a revelation to anybody who's been listening to me for a while say, you're going to have to fight a dishonorable enemy on his terms or lose. You come to the fight honorably, and if it turns out that people are calling for medics and clutching hand grenades, then you have to change your rules, hopefully without changing your essential character. Again, I come back to where I was before, Scott. The Merrick Garland thing was political arm twisting, but if the Democrats had had the power to do it, they would have done it. So we've been given this system that was very intricately thought out with a number of checks and balances and limits on power and so on. And if they couldn't get Merrick Garland appointed in the course of a year, it's because they didn't have the political power to do it.
And let me just turn that around and say, isn't it incumbent upon President Trump now to use his political force and his bully pulpit, as Theodore Roosevelt might have called it, to demand that the Republicans do just that they come back into session and pass these things, if only to say, look, number one, you're serving until the new Congress is seated, and not just until the election. That's the way the framers set it up, And number two, you made some promises to the American people in the presidential election year and in the midterm year that you've not yet fulfilled. You are morally obligated to fulfill those, even if you have to use budget reconciliation, dirty pool to get it done.
Well, telling a politician that they're morally responsible for something is a bit like asking a fish how, what's the weather like up at 30,000 feet. There are some things that they're just not capable of. So there's that. This is I was going to almost say it's a bit of a sticky issue, but to me, it's not a sticky issue. We're dealing with opponents who are trying to destroy the essence of what this country is. And they are using every means possible, legal means where necessary, and illegal means when the legal means don't work. How many you can count on, whenever there's a close election in this country, Scott, what you can count on is there will be recounts and recounts and recounts, and more boxes of ballots will show up until the Democrat has one more vote than the Republican, at which point all of the people will finally have been heard, and that'll be the end of it. This is the kind of opposition we have today. So again, is this illegal? Certainly not illegal. Is it immoral? I don't believe it's immoral to the degree that the Congress. Yeah, let me just wrap it up this way. This Congress was elected to serve from January until January, correct? 2-year term for the representatives. And the American people understood that. And so it's not a surprise to them, and it's not a violation of any kind of social compact to serve the rest of your term out when everybody knew that the rest of your term meant a potential 2 months of lame duck sessions. So it'd be nice if we had a duck that actually did something, Scott. I'd like to have a duck that could at least walk, if not run. It'd be nice to have a duck that was able to actually get a little bit closer to the finish line that we elected the damn duck for the Congress in the first place.
Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what happens with the lame duck session, and my prediction would be not much.
Me too.
Stuff's going to happen here thanks to the members at BillWhittle.com. And we're coming to you 5 days a week with Bill Whittle Now, in addition to 5 episodes a week of Right Angle. And there's more to come in the future. We appreciate the support of the members at BillWhittle.com who pay $9.95 a month for the privilege of disseminating these conversations around the world. Stay tuned right here. And frankly, instead of just staying tuned, why don't you join the team? Why don't you become part of those citizen producers who are making this possible? Unite with us in advancing this cause. So for Bill Whittle, I'm Scott Ott. Thanks to the members at BillWhittle.com for making this possible.